blanking out on it.
What the hell? How are we blanking out on that? Hold on.
Not League of Their Own. What the hell is it called? It's Major League.
No, not Major League.
Not Major League.
With Sheen in it, right? Charlie Sheen?
No.
That one?
What are you looking at me for?
Don't look at me either. I can feel you looking at me.
Welcome back to the Unrestricted. Is that what I'm supposed to say?
Sure.
Good night. Let's try that again.
Got a bout of herpes going on. Welcome back to the Unrestricted Podcast.
In your lungs?
Yes, maybe.
Herpes of the lung.
I'm Walter Passagreen along with Jeff Exler and somebody named Bob.
Hi, I spell it backwards.
That's just genius.
I spelled Jeff with PH at the end, by the way.
Have you ever...
Like Steph?
Yes, but Jeff.
Have you ever watched Jeff Dunham, the
No.
ventriloquist? He's got one of his characters that telling him how to pronounce his name is Jeff Fafa. Jeff Fafa.
Yeah, that's me.
All right, then.
Yeah, ventriloquism.
Now, there's some good humor there.
Hot topic.
All right, we got a couple of things to get to here. The Spurs, the Cowboys, maybe the race for president, and a new segment we're going to introduce today, Top 5. So every week we do this podcast. Well, I'd like to throw in a Top 5 segment. So Today we're going to get to your Top 5 movies of all time.
All right, good.
Wow. Sound good?
Yep.
You like that, Bob?
I do.
Yep. All right, good. All right, let's start with the Spurs. I think up until the other night when they were horrible, I thought they were playing much better. They were more competitive. They were actually fun to watch for a couple of different reasons. They were just competing really hard on the floor. They were doing things. They were hitting shots, doing all the right things. But then they would get to the point at the end of the game where, they needed to make one more shot or a defensive stop. But they would turn the ball over. They would have a defensive breakdown where the opposing team would have an easy layup, and then everything went to hell. And then they couldn't make a shot after that. But they were really fun to watch over these last 4 or 5 games or so until the other night. And even in that game, they came back and made it a game.
Isn't it funny that you could count on that turnover though? Like watching those games, I was just like, "Oh boy, here we go. We're gonna make a crucial turnover. I can promise you." And here it goes.
And that stops them from winning the basketball game.
Yep.
But you get the sense that they're getting close to putting it together where they start. They're competing on every night now where they weren't necessarily doing that in the beginning, and so I think that's a really good sign.
Yeah, I mean they haven't lost by 40 lately, so that's good, right? Yeah.
So we're starting to see some improvement in this team, but obviously when you look at the squad that they have, most of these guys are not going to be around by the time they're competing for a playoff spot, maybe a title at some point. To me, it's Wemby, obviously. It's Devin Vassell. I am still a big fan of Jeremy Sohan, even though he takes a lot of crap on social media from everybody in San Antonio.
Including me.
And other than that, that's it. Everybody else can go.
Yeah, so let's talk about Wemby. Let's focus in on him because he's the one piece that isn't going anywhere.
Okay.
Have you seen this awesome progression that I've seen in Wemby from opening night to where he is now? He's a completely different player. Opening night and really for the first couple of months, for the first several months, he was a sloppy dribbler who thought he was a wing. He is doing less and less of that, I think I'm a small forward routine.
Yeah, because he was bad at it.
Yeah, he was.
He could pick his pocket easily.
And I remember Pop said, he really wanted to just roll the ball out and let Wemby try to be Wemby and figure out where he wanted it.
They didn't know how good he was at anything, and they're just kind of figuring out just like we are.
Which is a little surprising to me. The guy's been your number one scouted player for the last 5 years. You don't really know anything about him?
A little bit strange, yeah.
Bullshit. you know plenty.
Is this a validation of the European method of bringing up players through their youth as an indictment against the American way through AAU, 1 year of college?
It's always been that way. If you talk to, and I've talked to Pop many times, obviously, but they always felt that the American basketball player, the kid growing up, did not have the fundamentals that the international players do.
And there's a reason for it. The AAU programs don't practice
Yeah.
as much as they do in Europe. They don't have that AAU system, and they spend their time practicing, not playing. AAU, you play and you play and you play. You're going to play 6 games in a weekend.
Plus, it's for them, it's all about highlights. For the American player,
Exactly.
it's about highlights. It's about, 3-point shots from the half court, and it's about, jamming the basketball. It's not about the fundamentals, and it's different for international players. It's been that way for years.
But I think Wimby is an interesting case study because he is obviously very European. But I think he also has a lot of the American basketball player in him. I mean, he absolutely searches for the highlight. Otherwise, he wouldn't be out there dribbling on the perimeter between his legs behind his back. The guy is
throwing the ball off the backboard so he can dunk.
Yeah, I mean,
Did the other night, yeah.
he's crazy skilled, okay? But he also has a little bit of the American player in him, and that's not very surprising because he's a pretty cosmopolitan guy. I mean, that's just who he is. But I have seen a big change in him, Wally. He is spending more time closer to the basket than he used to. The sloppy turnover stuff, I'm not saying it's gone away, but it's gotten rectified to some degree. And on defense, he's finding himself in the hole defending the rim much more often now than he used to at the beginning of the season, where the Spurs would wind up giving up 3 straight offensive rebounds because Wimby's out at the free throw line. That's happening less.
All right, here's what this is my main takeaway with Wemby at this point. And yes, he's gotten better and all that kind of stuff, and they still don't use him enough on easy plays. Like the players around him still are not very good at alley-oops to him.
Which is terrible.
Which is mind-boggling to me. But defensively, and you saw it with Rudy Gobert the other night, and frankly, when I saw it, I thought to myself, why hasn't this happened all along? I can't figure it out. And maybe it's just NBA coaches being too thick-headed. But Rudy Gobert took Wemby from the foul line and backed him all the way to the basket, and basically it was either a stuff or it was just a layup. And for the life of me, I can't figure it out. Why doesn't this happen on every offensive player, every offensive play against the Spurs? Jokic should be able to score 100 against Wemby. Back his ass down and stuff it in his face.
I think
it's easy.
It's easy right now. I think given his progression, that would be one thing where he would just figure out how to start to defend again.
Absolutely not. I totally disagree with you. He is too skinny. He's not physical enough, and he doesn't have the body that's going to allow him to be a bigger and stronger guy. He's going to get pushed around all over the floor. And why hasn't it happened already? I don't have the answer. But you saw Rudy Gobert, who's not the biggest and strongest guy in the NBA, just push him. He started, and it was easy. It was just like a kid pushing a little matchbox car. Just pushed him all the way down to the baseline and just laid the ball up.
I think there's a reason. Ask Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, he tried to back down Wemby and stuff on his head, and Wemby met him at the rim. He's got these crazy long arms and this crazy reach. It's not that easy to get it over.
So then how did Rudy Gobert do it so easily?
It was one play. And Rudy Gobert, by the way, is 7'4". Like you said, he's not the biggest, strongest guy in the NBA.
He's not 7'4", Gobert. No,
he is
6'11".
No, he's either 7'3" or 7'4".
Maybe with his arms out, but
I promise you he's 7'3".
No, Rudy Gobert is 6'11".
He is not 6'11".
All right, I'm looking it up now. How big is he, Bob?
Wikipedia 7'1", wingspan 7'9". That's not small.
He's not 6'11". He's huge. He's about the second biggest guy in the damn league, unless you're going to count Boban. Yeah. Yes.
No,
yes.
Boban's just the ugliest player in the league.
You're looking it up live on air. I promise you. Gobert's huge, man. He's huge.
All right. If you say he's huge, they said he was 6'11" on the telecast.
They are fucking wrong.
All right. All right, so there's my Wemby take. The other things here, Devin Vassell to me is the most talented player on the roster. He can pass, he can shoot, he can drive. He will be part of the team that challenges for a playoff spot in the future.
I think he could be. It just depends on whether the Spurs move him or not. I mean, I think he's good enough to be a wingman for Wemby, sure.
But if you're not going to move Keldon Johnson, and that's just mind-boggling why Keldon Johnson wasn't moved at the trade deadline. I can't figure it out. So Devin Vassell to me is going to stay. But back to Keldon Johnson, I have this idea. Maybe it was, and this was unintentional. Maybe it was Pop that ruined him by giving him too big of a reward too early in his career, and so now Keldon Johnson's a little bit ruined.
Do you mean by putting him on the Olympic
Yes.
squad? Yeah. You know,
Because
Walter,
right now
that makes some sense.
He'd be the guy that we should be washing the uniforms for the Olympic team. That's as far as Keldon Johnson's fallen.
Yeah.
And he gets benched the other night for
That may have been too much too soon. I can agree with that.
It's possible.
And if we're talking about the surrounding cast of Wemby, I think it's really important to point out that Vassell and Keldon Johnson, for all their talents, are both terrible passers. Terrible passers. That it's just not part of their game. And I've told you all this, I think, on the show or at least off air. I think it's the most undervalued characteristic in basketball players is being a great passer. And, you know, you think of the great players, the truly great. Bird, Magic, Jokic right now.
Yep.
LeBron, of course, Manu, they share that characteristic. They are gifted passers. You have to have at least one on a roster with Wemby, hopefully more than one. But until the Spurs find a guy who can really pass the damn thing, they're going to be stuck with a bunch of offensive-minded, get their own kind of guys, which Keldon and Vassell are, and that's not always all bad. I mean, you know, Byron Scott back in the day was an all-offense guy. You know,
but this team needs to offensively. They need to be like a, you know, 4-down kind of team. The offense needs to. And listen, they're still trying to figure this out, I think. But they need to be the offense needs to be centered around Wemby whenever he's on the floor.
But it won't be at the block, Walter. It won't be 4 down. It'll be probably.
No, I don't mean it that way. I mean everything needs to go through him first before it goes out to a Vassell or anyone else.
It's interesting you bring that up. I saw this the other day. Any idea who leads the NBA in usage rate? In other words, how many times per game they touch the ball? It's Jokic. And it's Jokic. Okay. It's Jokic by a pretty good margin. Then it's Luka. And then number 3 is way down the list. Mm-hmm. So if you ever watch a Nuggets game, every possession touches Jokic.
Yeah.
Usually right about the top of the key, the nail, somewhere in that range. The ball always touches him. He also has a super quick amount of time that he touches the ball. It's like less than 2 seconds, where Luka is like 4 seconds per touch. So what does that mean? It means the ball's getting to Jokic, and Jokic is moving it very quickly to somebody else. And that's the brilliance of what Denver's doing with him and how they're utilizing him. And I think to your point, that's probably how Wemby needs to get used, because it can't be the way Tim Duncan was used with 4 down, you know, operating from the block, and then you start your offense from there. I don't think he's big enough to hold that position.
Then it's not going to be easy to figure out how to best utilize him. It's just not. I guess with Tim Duncan, it was easy. You know, you dump it down to him. He either makes his move, or if he's doubled, then you kick it out and you hit 3. With Wemby, you can't do that because he can't back somebody into the basket. Is you know, 4 down is not his forte.
No.
It's everything else that's his forte.
So he's a good ball handler and a pretty good reader of the game and a pretty good passer for being 19. Like, get it to him at the nail. Get it to him at the top of the key. I mean, those are good spots for a guy like that. But look, we'll see that in the next couple of years, right?
I have a simple yes or no question.
Sure.
Do you guys trust the Spurs front office that this is in a big war room and they have a good plan going into the offseason?
No.
Yes.
No.
I don't have any reason to doubt them.
I do. I think Brian Wright has been a bad general manager for the most part. I think he's gotten 80% of his moves wrong.
Yeah, but I got to include Greg Popovich in the front office.
And I asked that question because I have a lot of friends who are Spurs homers, that are like looking at this going, oh, I don't think they're going to get it right. Oh, we're going to lose Wemby in a few years anyway. He's going to go to a bigger market, bigger contract. We're not going to be able to keep people. Not going to be able to bring in free agents. And we don't know what to do with this, 7'8" gajillion unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dude, the guys in the front office there know what they're doing. They're smarter than you.
They do. But
And-
Brian Wright scares me. I'm
Okay.
just being straight up with you.
Okay.
His drafting worries me. His analysis of players worries me. I mean, I'm thinking back to DeMare Carroll. Do you remember that signing? DeMare Carroll was
Yeah.
on his last leg 2 years before the Spurs gave him a contract. Like the Pau Gasol deal. That was another guy who was 2 years beyond being useful in the NBA.
Mhm.
And we signed him to a 3-year fucking deal. Like, I'm sorry, but no, I don't trust Brian Wright.
Okay.
I still trust Pop. I still trust RC. They at least have some skins on the wall that leads me to believe that they could turn it around and get it right this time. But like Brian Wright scares me to death. Sorry.
And being the idiot that I am about this, I wonder, are they kind of riding through the rest of the season, putting these guys out there, maybe building up trade, capital around each of them, knowing, we're going to unload a whole bunch of people, and our plan is just to move on.
And that'd be fine. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Okay.
Hey, listen, if you're offering me stock in the Spurs, I'm buying it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because here you are, you're going to look right now. They're in the bottom 3. You're going to get another. You may get the number 1 pick in the draft again. That's possible.
Well, I mean,
So I think they're in a good spot here.
the other thing that's going up is season ticket prices.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that.
I
canceled my. I'm a season ticket holder this year. Partial the 10 game plan. I canceled it for next year.
Did you?
Yeah,
because
you
of
got
the raise in price?
No, because I can get the tickets cheaper, and I probably should have done. I didn't expect them to be this bad. When I bought the tickets, for some reason, don't ask me why. I didn't think the whole thing through, and it was the my food truck business that bought the season tickets, so it doesn't matter. But you could buy
It's a
the
lot of French
tickets.
fries.
You could buy the tickets much cheaper on the secondary market.
That's
so.
just it. And you can pick and choose your games
Yeah.
when you and your son or daughter are available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I'm not a season ticket holder for that reason.
I
But I
think-
want to speak to the raise in ticket prices. No shit. I mean, we have a unicorn.
Yeah,
Guess what? Ticket prices are gonna go up.
Yeah, but as drastic as 25% in some instances.
Is that
that
what
right?
it is?
In some
okay, I've not
instances,
seen
I've
that.
heard that it's anywhere from 10, generally in the mid-teens, and then I have heard reports that it's into the 20s for some ticket holders.
I have
I
not
don't
seen
know
that.
what the history is. I don't know if they've been increasing them all along, or this is the first increase in years.
I mean, I can
don't
see
know.
a 5 to 10 across the board.
Yeah.
But next year, I mean, the outlook is
Slightly better.
30-ish
30 wins?
wins.
Yeah.
Maybe an outside chance at a 10 play-in.
Yes,
Maybe.
they should compete next year for a play-in.
We'll see. Maybe.
They should.
But to your point, they're not going to be great next year. It's not going
So,
to be a
yeah,
guaranteed playoff team.
So I think that big of a raise is maybe 1 year too soon.
Yeah,
I think
that sounds
The
likely.
season after next year, I think, is when you really want to be going.
But it's
to the
supply
arena.
and demand, and demand for seeing Wemby is high.
And
So
I got no problem with how the season's turned out, really. You're going to have a shot at getting this number 1 pick again. You'll have 2 number 1 picks on your roster that should be stars, big stars, superstars. When you pick that high, you should be picking superstars. They obviously have one. You add a second one, you'll be in good shape. And then you got a new arena coming downtown.
Yep.
That's a matter of time.
Yep.
When that's announced.
UTSA has just kind of put some ink to paper on what they want to do. $100 million investment in a parking lot, I think somewhere near the Crockett Hotel. So they're going to clear out that Texan culture World Fair
Yeah, and
debacle.
that's
that
where
it
the
is
new
now.
arena will be.
So yeah, I mean, bring it downtown, baby. I can walk to that arena.
Here's the thing, though, and I get into this discussion all the time with when the Mission's downtown arena was being proposed and stuff like that. For me, the Mission Stadium is fine where it is.
Yeah.
Got no problem with it out there because it's convenient for me. It's close to where I live. Going downtown to an AT&T Center, Frost Bank Center, whatever they're going to call it at that point, is no more convenient than going out to 35 to the arena now. So
the problem with Wolf Stadium is it's not in compliance with current minor league standards for stadiums.
Yes, of course.
We need to upgrade if we're going to keep a minor league team. And the other X factor in the baseball side is right now, Austin, San Antonio, this whole metro is in talks for one of the next two expansion teams.
For what? What sport are we talking about? Baseball?
Baseball. Manfred has said he wants expansion to be planned and on the books before the end of his current 5-year deal.
It's not happening. Not in this area. It's not going to happen.
I find it hard to believe we would have a Major League Baseball team.
They're never. San Antonio is never mentioned anymore.
Actually, no, that's incorrect. San Antonio and Austin are being mentioned, but they're down the list. It looks like Tennessee, Nashville is a higher possibility. Salt Lake City on the Major League Baseball. I know we're just in the spring training, so
they're going to go international and NFL expansion. They are going international before they ever come. Even dream of coming to Texas.
The Jaguars' home field is already London.
They're going to, and Mexico City will have a team. I don't know how they're going to put a team in Europe and have them play in the NFL. That doesn't make sense to me.
Since we kind of mentioned ownership groups and everything else, did y'all see the story about the Chiefs players grading out their front office and head coach?
Yes.
Okay, so for those of y'all that did not see this, apparently there's like a player poll that was recently introduced in the NFL.
Yeah, a player wellness poll from the NFLPA.
Where they take the players' they poll the players on their own management, their head coach, their facilities, their training staff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Andy Reid, A+ from the Kansas City Chiefs. Clark Hunt, the owner, F-.
Hilarious.
And they didn't get another grade higher than a C. So the players really don't like anything about
which is
buying all
facility?
That? I'm not buying that stuff.
Which could be really bad for them going to the off season as they have a lot of defensive free agents that are up for contract.
I don't buy any
Clark
of that
Hunt's
stuff.
a piece of shit. I'm so glad he got an F-. You know why I think that? He's got a totally hot daughter.
I don't trace the logic, but you do you.
Okay.
Alrighty. There's that. All right, so there's your Spurs segment for the day. To the Cowboys quickly. Dak is he's going to get his money at some point. It's going to be $60 million. Maybe it's a little bit less than that somehow when they negotiate this contract, but he's going to be your guy because he's their only option. They don't have a better option than Dak at this point.
God, it feels like the 2024 presidential election.
Oh, well, we'll get to that. Listen, he led the league in touchdowns last year with 36. But his problem, and we all know it is, he can't win the big one. But what's the alternative for the Cowboys?
It's not Dak's problem. It's the whole entire organization's problem. It's from the owner through the front office down to the coaching staff. It is a culture problem. They need to reset something. They're running it back and doing the same damn thing. And I don't care bringing down Zimmer from Denver or from Minnesota. I don't care. If you're a Cowboys fan, you're going to get into the playoffs next year. You're going to lose your playoff game. We're going to be the same place next year. It's going to be fucking Groundhog Day in Dallas.
Why are you getting all upset? That should make you happy. Your 49ers got an easier path. I agree. They do need a culture change. They need a toughness because they're soft as my ass, and
Who would know how soft your ass is?
Nobody in this room.
They get pushed around all over the field. We see it time after time. They need to get tough, and I like the Mike Zimmer move because he adds some toughness to that Cowboys defense, and it should be better.
I'm always surprised when people say a coach adds toughness. How does that work?
Well, because it should be, if you screw up, you're coming off the field. I need somebody that's going to be tough out there and do what we want him to do. And listen, and if it doesn't work that way, it's not going to be any good. Okay.
Okay.
You guys are playing with little tools here. So we'll see. We'll see how
So
that
to
all goes,
speak.
so to speak. Yeah. All right. Jump from the Cowboys. Top 5 or the race for president. Which way you want to go?
Can
Top
I give you?
5,
Can I give you?
please.
Can I give you a quick thing before we go to one of those?
Go.
Last night, Caitlyn Clark became the women's major college all-time leading scorer.
Okay.
Awesome.
And her team won by 42, by
Okay.
the way, in a conference game. And, I don't know. This is the closest men's college basketball and women's college basketball have ever been to me in terms of viewing interest. I have never watched less men's college basketball than I have this current year because there's no great team, there's no great player, there's too much player movement for me to be consistent in my viewership. And on the women's side, you have Caitlyn Clark putting up like a Pete Maravich type season.
I have investigated ways to go see her play.
Yeah, it's different than it's ever been.
And
It's different than it's ever been, Walter. Right? Like for your first time, you actually are interested in a women's college basketball game. Am I right?
Yes, because she's got the Steph Curry
draw. Yeah, she does.
She shoots the basketball from all over the place, and that's fun to watch.
Yeah.
She's 18 points away from the all-time record, men's or women's.
Yeah.
18. She's going to do it against Ohio State, even though Iowa's going to lose to Ohio State.
She is, and I don't think this is disputable. She is the most famous college basketball player on the planet right now.
Right now.
There's
Okay.
is
agree with
Zach
that.
Edey?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, he has no personality.
All right, so we didn't talk about the All-Star game because who cares? But I'll say this when we're talking about Caitlyn Clark. Okay, if you're gonna and the female versus the male, Steph Curry versus Ionescu really worked really well during All-Star Weekend. But if you're going to continue to do that, and you're going to have those two people go against, or any male against the female, then everything needs to be the same. Okay? Yes, you need to shoot from the same three-point line, which they did, but you have to use the same goddamn basketball.
I don't agree with that.
Why?
I don't agree with that. I've heard Frank Isola try to make this argument. I don't like it at all. They play a slightly different sport. They have a different line. They have a different ball.
Then you can't compete against each other. That's the way it goes.
It's not for the world's heavyweight title, bro. It's for a stupid trophy at the All-Star break.
It's
the
a
big
game of
mistake at
timed
the
horse.
All-Star break, the biggest mistake the NBA made at the All-Star break was not putting Caitlyn Clark in it. They should have brought her instead of Ionescu.
Well, maybe they try to, and she's not available.
Oh,
I don't know.
She should have been fucking available. I mean,
She'll
fly
be
her out there
available
for one night. I mean, it's
then
not
I'm
that hard.
If you can't give her the same basketball, then I'm not interested in watching because it's not on the same playing field.
Okay.
Yeah,
To
okay.
each their own.
There's
Okay.
that.
Okay, one more college basketball thing because it's in the news.
Okay.
What do you think about storming the court?
Stupid. Get rid of it. It's
Get
dumb.
rid of it.
I am
dumb.
100% with Jay Billis on this one. Get rid of it.
Oh, fuck both of you.
No, fuck you.
No.
No way, dude. This is what makes college basketball awesome.
Oh, I don't care.
If you can get to a situation where you protect the players and get them off, protect them with better security, and then allow the exuberant celebration, I am fine with that. But anything that puts those players who are unpaid employees of the institutions at risk is bad.
They're paid.
NIL isn't paid. They're not employees.
Okay.
But it puts them it unnecessarily puts them at risk. And when I forget whether it was Ohio State, when the AD and your men's football coach are storming the court with the students, nope.
I'm sorry, you
Nope.
can't take it out of the sport. It's too much a part of the game.
Well, then make it safer then. And I understand it's only been 2 injuries that we know of that have taken place here with Caitlyn Clark and whoever the other guy was.
Filipowski.
We took it out of baseball. We took it out. Have you ever seen a court be stormed in the NBA?
Yeah, in the 80s, and then they took it away.
Took it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
Get rid of it.
I'm no
It's
more
got to
Mr.
stay
Fun
in
Guy.
college basketball.
Okay.
All right.
Move on.
All right. Keep it going.
All right. We're going to start a new segment here on the podcast. How much? We don't have a lot of time left.
No, we don't. We can go fast.
I broke a monitor.
Top 5. Here's your top 5 for this week. Your top 5 movies of all time.
All right.
Your greatest movies of all time.
You want me to go?
I got 4. I couldn't come up with a 5th. So here's I'll just give you my ground rules for this. I put my list together based on if the movie came on television, I would watch it no matter where it was during the movie.
Okay. See, that's slightly different than what I did.
But
Because
that's how I rated my greatest movies.
that's fair. That's how you can do it. But that's not how I did it.
All right, go ahead.
All right. My favorite movies in no particular order.
Go ahead.
The Blues Brothers. I think it's the
Okay.
greatest American comedy film ever made.
I
Okay.
disagree, but okay.
The Godfather I and The Godfather II.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you putting those down as one?
No,
or
I made
two?
them. I cheated. I made them 2.
Yeah.
Or maybe I didn't cheat. I don't know.
Okay.
Blazing Saddles.
Oh yes.
Wow, you're a racist.
And the last one is Elf.
Really?
Yeah. If you're basing this on like
It's
how
not even the
often I
greatest
watch
holiday
it,
movie.
if you're basing it off how often I've watched it, like Elf is way up
Okay.
there. I mean,
Okay.
my family and I watch it in June. It's so funny.
Okay.
And obviously, I don't even celebrate Christmas, but I still love that movie.
You're not only a racist, but never mind.
All right, give me yours.
That's an interesting list.
Thank
All
you.
right. So again, that's that. I couldn't think of how do I break it down to just 5 movies. Well, I gotta. The movies that I watch on television, no matter where they are, and they may not be on TV enough, but nevertheless. All right, here's my top 5, and you just gave me my 5th one.
Okay.
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, I knew that'd be on your list because
It just
everybody
has to
watches
be.
that every
Yeah.
time it's on.
Back to the Future,
Which one?
the first one.
Okay.
That's I watch that movie no matter where it is. If it's on TNT, TBS, I will watch it. And they don't put every movie on all the time, but that's the only way I can rate them. Field of Dreams.
Great movie.
I love that movie, and I own Back to the Future, Shawshank, Field of Dreams on DVD.
Nice.
So that maybe that's another one. Rocky,
Yeah.
Okay.
because Rocky's the greatest sports movie of all time. Don't argue. And you gave me the last one. It's a Wonderful Life, because that's my favorite holiday movie of all time, and I will watch that no matter where it is.
I'm a little surprised The Godfather's not on your list. I thought you were a huge Godfather fan.
I am, but it would be in my top 10. But
Okay.
those are
That's it.
I don't if Godfather's on TV, I won't necessarily leave it on and stay with it.
Okay.
But these 5, I definitely will.
I
Although
almost always do.
Rocky should be on TV more often than it is.
Okay. I'm coming at this cold because I was given this 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Okay.
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 You're a Monty Python kind of guy.
Huge.
obviously.
Love
Okay.
Python. The Martian.
Really?
Yeah.
I never saw it. Was it that good?
The Martian with
Matt Damon.
where he gets stuck up there in
Yeah,
Mars.
yeah.
I thought that was an interesting movie to me.
That is a movie where when as
Shocking
you
it would
said
be
that,
in your top 5.
as you
however.
said that, it's one of those movies where I'll sit into it, get into it in the middle, and just keep on watching.
I've never seen that movie on TV.
I should have put District 9 on my list.
Ooh, that's a good
because
one.
that's one that I watch every time it comes on.
My next 2 movies are with a guy that I don't agree with politically generally, but anyway, For Love of the Game.
Okay.
For me, one of the best sports movies out there, even though there isn't that much sports in it.
Okay.
That whole, clear the mechanism, just awesome.
Now that's interesting to me because to me that's not Costner's best sports movie.
Oh.
No, because I think his best sports movie is the next pick, Tin Cup.
I do watch Tin Cup almost every time it's on.
Okay.
It is that good. I do like it.
That's funny.
And for my holiday movie, Die Hard.
Okay.
Okay.
That's interesting. Costner has a lot of sports movies to pick from, and you picked 2 that I don't think they would have been my first 2 picks, but
No,
that's interesting.
Mine either.
I mean, Field of Dreams
Interesting.
might have been number 1. And what was the minor league baseball one that I'm forgetting?
For
the
the
name
love of
of?
Oh,
the game.
No.
No.
Bull Durham.
Bull Durham.
Bull
Bull
Durham.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, that's that. You're absolutely right. Sorry.
All right, keep
all
it
right.
going.
From there, all right, a couple of quick ones. I don't know why I did this, but I did. I bought an $85 personally signed card by J.J. McCarthy.
Why?
I don't know.
Ooh.
I'm not a fan of
Ooh.
Michigan. It was just offered. I go, that's interesting. You know what? I don't have an autographed card by anyone, and I decided to buy J.J. McCarthy's card. I also have Wemby's rookie card, which I purchased. I got one for me and my son,
Nice.
but I bought a J.J. McCarthy autographed baseball card. I don't know why.
I think that J.J. McCarthy card in 10 years may be worth something.
It could be. I mean, a lot of people talk
Could
about
be
him
worth
like he's on the come up.
$1.50.
Yeah.
That's what it could be worth, $1.50.
His accuracy, his
Yeah.
throwing accuracy is something that's being pointed out as a very transferable NFL skill.
It'll be very interesting to see if he gets into the first round. I don't expect him to.
Oh,
The first three picks will be quarterbacks.
J-
We'll see how that all breaks out.
J.J. McCarthy is the first half of the first round.
Okay, we'll see
Yeah.
about that. Interesting. One more for you. I have a new, and I've done this on my in my opinion show on Facebook Live. My favorite beer now, and I have this really, really difficult beer question.
Okay.
Okay, so if you did not know and you're listening to this program for the first time, I have heart disease and I'm a diabetic. Okay, two bad things. So I'm trying to weigh two different types of beer. Do I drink non-alcoholic beer that has a lot more carbs, or do I drink alcohol beer that has very little carbs?
I would go with the alcoholic stuff
Why?
because you want to stay away from the carbs, right? Isn't that your most dangerous
I don't know.
situation?
Yeah, but isn't drinking alcohol a big problem?
You know
too?
what? I'm not a doctor. I don't want to answer this. Never mind. I don't want to be liable.
I called my Aetna nurse to find out, and so I haven't gotten a call back. But that's the dilemma I have. So with that being said, Dos Equis makes a non-alcoholic lime and salt beer that is unbelievably delicious and refreshing. I absolutely love it, and I got to hold myself from having 4 of them.
We have had the non-alcoholic beer discussion on this program, haven't we?
Yes,
There
and
are a lot of good options now.
Yes, there is. They're incredibly. If you're thinking, oh, I don't want to. What was the old non-alcoholic beer that's been out there forever?
Oh, sure. God.
But it's awful.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's awful.
Yeah.
But they have gotten so much better, and this one's fantastic. Sam Adams makes a great one. Even Natural Light makes a very good tasted non-alcoholic beer. And if you want to say, if you don't want to drink the alcohol or you think you drink it too much, try one of those things and it will satisfy you in every way.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones out there now. I'm trying to remember the names. The St. Pauli girl makes a really good one.
Really?
Yeah.
Haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
And I don't know when this took place, but it obviously is where the way it is. Beer is $8, $9 a 6-pack. I don't know how that happened. When I owned my store up in New York, I think I sold a 6-pack of Budweiser for $5.75.
Wow.
And now it's $9. When did that happen?
I don't know. But it's about the time that beer got good.
It's crazy.
Right? Like we've added craft beers to the mix.
Yeah, and I don't really like craft beers. I don't like IPAs. They're too hoppy for me.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
Yeah.
But the Boston Lager Sam Adams IPA non-alcoholic is delicious. I love it.
Not Coors Cutter. What was the name of the original non-alcoholic?
Crap, I can't think of it.
Oh,
O'Doul's.
Thank you.
Which is absolutely awful.
Awful. It's piss.
I wouldn't even take a bath in that stuff. I don't know why anybody would do that, but nevertheless. All right, that's all I got for this afternoon today.
Me too. I thought you had something political.
Oh, I do. All right, let's real quick. The race for the presidency, Michigan primary was this week. Two big things that came out of this, and one, obviously, everybody talked about the fact that all these uncommitted votes came in on the Democratic primary to go against President Biden. It was a group effort by Middle Easterners there in Michigan. There's a big population of those. It was their protest vote about the way the White House has handled this whole Israel-Hamas thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fine. In fact, and I saw this from WOAI radio, which I used to work at years ago, which I wouldn't even consider working out today. They called it embarrassing, the amount of votes that uncommitted got against Joe Biden. But if you really look at it, and if you don't have an agenda, the embarrassing thing that came out of Michigan was the fact that Nikki Haley got 27% of the vote when she hasn't been in contention for the GOP nomination in 3 months.
Yeah.
How did 27% come out and vote against Donald Trump? Because they can't stand the MF.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's not about uncommitted got 13%. Nikki Haley got 27% against Donald Trump. That's unbelievable to me. That's embarrassing. Not uncommitted. Nikki Haley, who, like I said, should have dropped out 2 months ago, 3 months ago, is still carrying on this facade for some crazy reason.
Well, because and none of the not none, but a good portion of those Haley voters aren't going to transfer over to Trump when he gets a nomination.
I don't think
you're
so
right.
either.
And I am hopeful that our democratic process works.
We'll see.
Not that I like our choices on either side, quite frankly, but
I'm hopeful that this country gets intelligent quickly. And I don't have a lot of faith in that happening.
What would lead you to believe that's going to happen?
persons are smart, people are stupid.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Enjoy, boys.
I don't mind.
Have a good week. Thanks.
Subscribe and listen, or
Like and
Absolutely,
subscribe.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
if,
what
and
it
if
is.
if you've gotten to the end of this, go to unrestricted.show on the web. You can look at our episodes there.
Wow.
Send us emails. Tell us about your top 5 movies.
When the hell did
if
this
you
happen?
disagree. We've had one since you've been here.
This is the first I've heard of it.
Unrestricted.show. We do have a website.
All right. We need to put that on Twitter so we could get questions from the audience.
Yeah.
Good idea.
The big audience we have.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
How y'all feel out there? Do you feel good? I said, do you feel good? Come on. The groove feel good when it make you move. Make your next move your best move. I said the groove feel good when it make you move. Make your next move your best move.